Today I will be discussing or I'll be starting a new chapter, that is your engineering geology. Okay, so in general case, engineering geology is a subject which read by the PG geology students throughout the semester. Like you were reading geology here, okay, where engineering geology is a part. They read the engineering geology as a whole as a whole semester. Okay, in their whole semester they read the engineering geology. Okay, so but here if you see your syllabus, that is a very basic thing that they ask me to cover, that importance of geological investigation in engineering project, like how would you select site, dam, bridge, tunnel, and stability of hill slope along the railway cuttings. So two parts are there in this engineering geology topic. One part, according to your syllabus, is the application of engineering geology in dam, bridge, tunnel selection, and second one is your slope stability analysis. Okay, so ये दो पार्ट है जो हम कवर करेंगे. So what is an engineering geology? You know that engineering geology is a geological engineering thing. That's this branch has only one objective, that it will be applying the geological knowledge. It will be helping the civil engineering people to reservoir design and location, to select the sites, to select the slope stability, to determine the slope stability for the construction purposes, to determine the earthquake, flood, determination of the earthquake, flood, and subsidence danger in areas considered for roads, pipeline, and other engineering works. So any civil engineering project or any large civil engineering project, suppose you are constructing a multi-story building, there you will be employing the knowledge of geology, and there is a specific branch for that, that is called the engineering geology. But in your course, I will only discuss the very basic part. Okay, so in this basic I will be discussing the site condition for dam or bridge and tunnel and reservoir, and the slope stability analysis, how to calculate that, and how landslides generally occur, how many types of landslides are there. So that these things will be discussed in your engineering geology chapter. Okay, so for this part, that the application of engineering geology in civil constructions, what are the constructions like dam, reservoir, bridge, and tunnel? Here two things required. There are two prerequisites. One is your basic knowledge in geology, okay, which I have discussed throughout, which I have discussed before mid-sem, and another thing required is the common sense. Okay, I hope everyone got this. बेसिक जियोलॉजी अगर याद भी नहीं होगा, कॉमन सेंस तो होगा. सो the application of engineering geology in dam, that will be our first topic to discuss. Before starting that, let me tell you one thing. What do you mean by upstream of a river, and what do you mean by a downstream side of a river? Suppose you are standing here, okay, so from your position, this side of the river is the river is coming down from the hilly area, and it's meeting, or it's basically going to the sea. Okay, this side would be your downstream side, and this side would be your upstream side. Okay, so this side of the river is your downstream side, this side of the river is your upstream side. Remember that. Now what do you mean by dam? Okay, dam and reservoir are pronounced at the same time, and dam is a barrier of large impounding structure which basically constructed on the upstream side of the river, okay, to confine a large volume of water, or to control the water, or to control the flood. So dam is very basically, so the river is coming down from the hill, you know what is a dam, and you are putting a dam, a barrier here with some specific structure, and that part is called, or that barrier is called dam. And dam generally I'm saying it, the dams generally are associated, and that's the case for the storage dam that I will discuss after this. The dams are generally associated with reservoir. Okay, so dam रहेगा तो reservoir भी रहेगा. In general case, in our common concept, we understand that reservoir will be there if there is a dam. So what do you mean by reservoir? So reservoir is the storage, the basinal structure, the whole bowl-like structure where associated with the dam or adjacent to the dam, due to the dam you will be keeping a storage. Like a reservoir is the water written by such a huge structure like dam, that's called a reservoir. So the mass of water stored at the upstream side of the dam is called the reservoir. And reservoirs have several objectives, like reservoir created by dams not only controls flood but provide water for several human activities. But at first I will only discuss about the dam. कहाँ कहाँ डैम बनना चाहिए, where you should build a dam and where you should not build a dam. Okay. So before going to that topic, that geological considerations of site of dam, let's discuss few things. First one is the several parts of a dam. Okay, so what are the several components of a dam? So this type of dam structure is called generally it's a gravity dam, and from now on if I say dam I'll be drawing this. Okay, अगर डैम मैं कहीं पे ड्रॉ करता हूँ मैं इसको डैम ड्रॉ करूँगा. दिस इज ए जनरल कॉन्सेप्ट, जनरल अंडरस्टैंडिंग, बिकॉज ये बहुत ईजी है ड्रॉ करना और बहुत अंडरस्टैंडेबल भी है. ओके, सो ए टिपिकल डैम हैज़ सेवरल पार्ट्स. फर्स्ट वन इज योर क्रेस्ट. ओके, सो क्रेस्ट इज द टॉप ऑफ द डैम. दिस टॉप ऑफ द डैम पार्ट is termed as crest. Okay, so in some cases this provides a roadway. If your dam is wide enough, then it may provide a path to it basically provides a roadway or a walkway or a footpath. It could be a footpath or it could be a road, proper road where vehicle can go. Okay, that's called the crest. Then there is these two walls like structure at the crest, which basically are the protective walls, okay, from either side of the road or on the crest. So if you are walking this way, if there is not this protective wall, ये तो हम लोग build करते ही हैं, इसको बोलते हैं parapet walls. ये हम लोग अगर रूफ भी बनाते हैं तो इसके ऊपर ये पैरापेट वॉल देते हैं. इससे काइंड ऑफ ए प्रोटेक्टिव वॉल, जिससे तुम गिर ना जाओ वहाँ से अगर चल रहे हो इसके ऊपर. ओके, नाउ देयर इज अनदर कंपोनेंट ऑफ डैम इज योर abutment. Okay, so abutment is the valley slope on either side of the dam which is called the abutment. So this portion is called abutment. Okay, now freeboard is there. What is freeboard? Freeboard is the this is the water height, this is normal water level, and this is the maximum water height. So this will be marked as the freeboard. So freeboard is the space between the highest level of water in the reservoir and crest of the dam. Why this point is the highest level of the water? Because before that let me discuss about hill. What do you mean by hill? Hill is the upstream portion. So this side is the upstream, जहाँ पे तुम्हारा रिजर्वायर रहता है. ओके, रिवर इधर से आ रहा है, from this side to this side river is flowing. So in the upstream portion the dam, and you have taken a 2D cross section. Okay, so river is flowing like this and it will be acting as a barrier. So hill is the upstream portion of the dam in contact with the river bed or foundation is called hill. So hills generally are the foundation of dam, and these hill portions are in contact with the river bed or foundation. Sometimes you will find the hill portion like this. So sometimes you will find the hill portions like this, okay, just like a hill in a shoe. It's called hill, and this portion, the front portion in the downstream side, is called toe. So this is hill, this is toe, okay. Another important point here is the gallery. So what do you mean by gallery? So gallery is the level or gently sloping tunnels like passages, transverse or longitudinal within the dam wall, which drains in the floor of our seepage water. So when you are storing seepage के बारे में मैं बता रहा हूँ, when you are storing a huge amount of water here, there is a chance of seepaging, okay. As a civil engineering student or as a civil engineering person, you should control the seepage. You should have a design that controls the seepage. You should have some remedial measures which can control the seepage, and I will later discuss how seepage can create a problem in dam stability, okay. So you have to control the seepage, and seepage will be happening. It's a common thing, common phenomenon, but you have to minimize it. And the seepage water can pass through this gully, okay. So it's a longitudinal you can longitudinal tunnel like thing inside that dam construction, which actually allows to pass the seepage waters, okay. So see, it's a cross section I am taking. Another important point here is the spillway, which is inside the dam. It basically controls the height of the water, okay. So the passage in the dam wall for discharge of surplus of water in monsoon season, what happens, the water level goes up from than the normal level, and makes, if the water level is crossing certain limit, then that water will be passing through this dam and it will goes in the downstream side, because you have to protect the dam, right. If you are giving a chance in overtopping the water, so I'll later discuss the failure of dam or reservoirs. There is a problem called overtopping. In monsoon season, what happens, the water stored in the upstream side is larger than its actual limit, than its threshold limits. So what will happen, the dam would be collapsed, and it's a common failure, common cause of failures, okay. In the past, several failures happened due to this overtopping. I'll show you some photographs later also about this. So to avoid that, what you are doing, you are passing some water, you are passing the surplus water via this tunnel. It's called the spillway, okay. Another most important point here is the sluice way. So what do you mean by sluice way? So sluice way is the passage where you can, this could be considered automatically, like if water goes above this maximum level MWL, then the water will be passing through this passage. Sluice way, there is a control in this gate, okay. If you remove the control, the water will be passing through this dam and it will go to the downstream side. बचपन में हम लोग इसको स्विच गेट बोलते थे, अगर किसी को याद है, तुम लोगों को भी बोला होगा. So it's generally called as a sluice gate as our common tongue, okay. So it's actually the name actually is sluice way, okay. Now these are some photographs of dam, okay. Among which this one you might know. ये क्या है, कौन सा डैम है, मालूम है? Did anyone know? किसी को मालूम है कि ये इस डैम का नाम क्या है? मुझे कल बताना. Okay, so types of dams based on the purpose, you can classify dam into 4 types depending on the purpose. First one is the very common one, that is your storage dam. So far I have discussed about dam and reservoir, how water is stored. That is, I was discussing the storage dam. So it is constructed to create a reservoir to store water. Okay. During periods where there is a huge flow in the river for utilization later periods of the low flow. So during monsoon it's storing the water because the reservoir have certain capacity and will be storing the water, and later in the जब खेती बाड़ी के लिए चाहिए होगा तो from there it can supply. That's the purpose of the storage dam. Another type of dam is called the detention dam. So what do I mean by detention dam? It's basically constructed to control the flood. So you can call the detention dam as a storage dam also. It basically controls the flow. Okay, it basically controls the flow of water. Okay, write this down. And it detain all or a part of flood water in a river and to gradually release the stored water later at a controlled rate. So to control flood, we generally use the detention dam. Third one is another famous one, that is the diversion dam. And these diversion dams are generally constructed to divert a part of water from river into a channel. So some portion of the river is coming this way. So if you are using a diversion dam, so some portion of the water will goes this way, you are diverting it, and rest of the water will be going this way. So it's called the diversion dam. Okay. Another temporarily built dam type is coffer dam. So coffer dams are a temporary dam and is constructed to exclude water from certain site. Suppose you are doing some civil engineering construction, you are doing some bridge over a river, and there you have to exclude, if possible, you have to exclude some area. So this area has been excluded. So what you will be doing, you will be encircling a area by some non-leaking material. Okay, you will be putting a temporary dam and you will be building the pillar or the support pillars or whatever you say. So वो सब build करोगे, उसके लिए जो dam बनाओगे उसको coffer dam बोलते हैं. Okay. Now, depending on the structural behavior, dams can be yes, coffer. Why? Coffer dams are basically constructed. Is it? मैं बता रहा हूँ. जैसे कि मान लो कि किसी इस एरिया पे तुम ब्रिज बनाओगे, तो ब्रिज के लिए वो पिलर को क्या बोलते हैं? एक पिलर बनाओगे ना, कंस्ट्रक्ट करोगे मोटा वाला, ठीक है ना, तो उसके लिए तुमको जगह चाहिए और वो जगह पानी से फ्री होना चाहिए. So what you will do, you will build a dam structure surrounding which will exclude the water. What you are doing, you are excluding the water. It's called coffer dam. So ये जो temporary dam तुमने build किए हो, इसको coffer dam बोलते हैं. Okay, so it is constructed on the upstream side of the site where the dam is to be constructed, so that the site is dry. Okay, so in this case it behaves like a, sometimes you can say it could be a diversion dam, but it's a temporary dam you are building, not permanently, only for your construction purpose. Is it clear? Now based on the structural view, yes, most of the cases, yes, the size will be less. So see, it's a temporary dam you are putting up. Okay, that's called the coffer dam. Now types of the dam, which is very important, you might want to put a star here. It can also be classified into 4 types. First one is the gravity dams. which is most common type of dam structure. So in case of gravity dam, what happened? The entire force acting on the dam wall, let me show you. So this is the gravity dam. You will be seeing this type of dam in your surroundings most of the cases. Okay. So gravity dams, what happening here, the force acting on the dam wall is transmitted onto small area of the foundation. So that's the foundation. Okay. So the force of the impounding water or the seepages, that will be, this is the drone shot. Okay, this is the top view. From top you will be seeing gravity dam like this. So generally we draw gravity dam. अगर मैं gravity dam पूछता हूँ तो ऐसे करके draw कर देना. ठीक है. ऐसा रहता है ग्रेविटी डैम. ओके, यू गॉट द आइडिया. ये तुम्हारा वाटर लेवल है. ओके, एंड दिस इज योर रिजर्वॉयर हियर. So in case of gravity dam, the water forces, the entire forces acting on the dam wall is transmitted basically on the foundation. ये नीचे ये तो रहेगा ना, इसका हिल रहेगा, टोर रहेगा. Okay, so therefore a dam of this nature is to be selected only in such places. You have to select sites for this dam, and it is very much cost effective. It can be it's a concrete dam, and why cost effective? Because in those cases, but there are some specific criteria where you can build a gravity dam. The criteria is that your bedrock should be hard enough, or it should be in a shallow position. Then only you will go for the gravity dam construction. Second type of dam is your arch dam. So the shape and the design of the arch, as the name suggesting, if you see from the top, you will be seeing arch dam like this. Okay, let me show you the arch dam. Okay, this is the arch dam. इसका नाम क्या है मालूम है? इसको हुबर डैम बोलते हैं. इसका बहुत सारे हिस्ट्री है. जो प्रेसिडेंट था यूएस का, डी फ्रैंकलिन रूजवेल्ट, उसने बनाया था ड्यूरिंग शायद वर्ल्ड वॉर 1 के टाइम पे. इट वाज ए कुछ नेसेसिटी था ड्यू टू सम मिलिट्री इन्फोर्समेंट सेंड करने के लिए. वो 4 साल में उसने, विदिन 4 years ही बिल्ड दिस टाइप ऑफ डैम, दिस हुबर डैम. अभी ये एक टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशन है. हुबर डैम के बारे में किसको मालूम है? मूवी देखते हो तुम लोग? वो देखे हो, कौन सा मूवी था? बहुत सारे मूवी में हुबर डैम को दिखाया है. किसको मालूम है हुबर डैम की कौन सी मूवी में दिखाया है? अरे बोलो, ये तो आउट ऑफ सिलेबस क्वेश्चन है. अरे बोलो, कौन सा मूवी में देखे हो? टर्मिनेटर में देखे हो ना, या किस में देखे हो? हाँ, टर्मिनेटर में देखे हो. टर्मिनेटर का जो फर्स्ट मूवी है ना, उसमें जाके देखना कि उसमें हुबर डैम के अंदर उन लोगों का कुछ साइंटिफिक एक्सपेरिमेंट होता है, वो दिखा रहा है. ठीक है ना. अभी वो टूरिस्ट अट्रैक्शन है, तुम जाके विजिट कर सकते हो. और ये एक फाइन एग्जांपल है आर्च डैम के लिए. लेकिन व्हाट इज़ द नेसेसरी क्राइटेरिया फॉर आर्च डैम? क्या चाहिए आर्च डैम बनाने के लिए? यू शुड हैव सम नैरो रिवर वैली. You should have very narrow river valley. So the shape and the design of this arch is such that the whole or the greater part of the load is transferred to the abutments. जो abutment होता है उसमें पूरा लोड वो ट्रांसफर करता है. And this means the rock below the abutment should be competent and stable. And the surrounding rocks, in past I will discuss discuss a case study. There you will see that in the past people build a dam, this arch type of structure, but they didn't consider the geological formation here and here. So this geology is very much important. This surrounding geology is very much important because the dam structure hold it by these structures, these geological rock types. Okay, so arch dam का जो structure होता है is basically उसको जो होल्ड करके रखा है वो है ये सराउंडिंग जियोलॉजिस्ट. If these rocks are not competent enough, if your bedrock is not competent enough, then you cannot make a arch dam there. Another type of dam structure, depending on the structural behavior, it is called the buttress dam. This one. So buttress dam is actually it's also these are the concrete dams in which there is a dike sloping upstream. Okay. So buttress dam में क्या होता है, द स्लोपिंग ग्रेविटी में क्या करते थे हम लोग, इसको स्ट्रेट रखते थे इन द अपस्ट्रीम साइड को. ओके, ड्रॉ ही नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. ये हो गया हमारा ग्रेविटी डैम. बटरेस डैम में क्या होता है कि ना डेक को हम लोग एक स्लोप देते हैं. सो ये स्टेबल, ऑलमोस्ट स्टेबल कंडीशन में रहेगा एंड इधर भी एक सपोर्ट देते हैं. सो दैट्स आवर बटरेस डैम. सो this deck which takes entire load is supported by the buttress, so it's called the buttress. This deck, this is the reservoir. Okay, the water is impounding on this surface, or the forces are acting on this surface, and this deck slope is supported by this buttress structure like this. So that's why it's called the buttress dam. So buttress distribute the loads over a wide area. That's why ये collapse नहीं हो रहा है, because it's distributing the whole load into the wider area. Okay, जो एरिया मिल रहा है, एक सोच लो ना कि एक लकड़ी का टुकड़ा है इस साइड में. ओके, एंड उसको रखने के लिए तुमको एक सपोर्ट दिए हो, और अगर कोई फोर्स दे रहे हो यहाँ पे, अगर तुम्हारा ये सपोर्ट सही रहा तो ये रह जाएगा, गिरेगा नहीं. ठीक है. नाउ द मोस्ट कॉमन वन, ओके, एंड मोस्ट हमारे साइड में तो ये दिखता है, दैट इज योर आर्च डैम और एम्बैंकमेंट डैम. So these earth dams are planned in such places where the underlying material is softy. Underlying material is not hard rock, it's made up of soft soils. Okay, so it's very weak to support masonry dams or where the competent rocks occur at the greater depths, and they are built of clay, sand, gravel, and due to the greater area of base and some other factors, the weight of the dam per unit or area of the ground will be relatively less. So generally these earth dams are, this is an example of an earth dam. These are generally huge in structure, okay, and the load are distributed over the area because greater area in the base they are getting. So they are getting the greater area in the basement. Okay, ऐसे अगर होता है तो यहाँ पे एरिया बहुत ज़्यादा मिल रहा है तो ये बहुत ही स्टेबल कंडीशन में रहेगा. Center of gravity and all that, you know that. Okay, the example of our dam is, anyone heard of Mukutmanipur Dam? Mukutmanipur, दुर्गापुर बैरेज, वेस्ट बंगाल में किसी को मालूम है मुकुटमणिपुर या दुर्गापुर बैरेज? दुर्गापुर तो मालूम है ना, दुर्गापुर बैरेज साइड एरिया. और इस टाइप का डैम कहीं पे और देखे हो तुम? सो दिस टाइप ऑफ डैम्स आर कॉल्ड द अर्थ डैम. ओके, ये अर्थ डैम का लेंथ इट कुड बी ऑफ 1 किलोमीटर और 2 किलोमीटर वाइड. ओके, नाउ लेट्स कम टू द important discussion here, that is the geology of the dam site. So the success of a dam is not only depending on the structure you made, but also depends on the reservoir. So I'll later discuss how reservoir is affecting the dam quality. Means when you are submitting a report, then not only you'll be seeing the dam's report, you'll be seeing the reservoir report also. Okay, so you'll be submitting the reservoir report also, that your reservoir is watertight, that means your no leakage or minimal leakage is happening from the reservoir. So the success of the dam is not related to the safety and stability but also to the success of the associated reservoir, and this topic is very much important. अभी तक जितना बक किया यहाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए, ठीक है. So in other words, on construction, if a dam stands firmly but if its reservoir leaks profusely, then you will be saying, so if dam is intact, okay, it's standing tall but your reservoir is leaking, then you will be saying that that structure is, that project, entire project is failed. Okay, वो काम में ही नहीं आएगा. So therefore the utmost care is needed in planning for the success both the dams and reservoir. As a geologist or as an engineering geologist, they will look some geological study, they will be doing some geological study, they will be doing some strength testing, they will be doing some structural study, they will be doing some petrological study to bring out the inherent advantage or disadvantages of a site, and by doing that you can consider that. So what engineering geologist will do? Engineering geologist will choose you, suppose a survey area is there and within survey area you have to select a site. So engineering geologist will give you that site. They have the geological information, they have the geological tools, they have the geological strength testing tool, okay. So they will say that ये जगह पे करोगे तो सही रहेगा. Okay, so careful geological studies should be done before going for any large civil engineering project like dam or reservoir. Okay, so what are the factors you should consider? So what are the factors you should consider for the dam site? So these are the geological considerations for dam site. Okay, so what are the important factors? 4 important factors are there: narrow river valley, occurrence of the bedrock at a shallow depth, competent rocks to offer stable foundation, proper geological structures. Okay, so structural geology involves here, petrology involves here, bedrock and river valley means it's a part of geology, can also say is a part of petrology or geomorphology concept. So your basic knowledge about petrology, structural geology is must to understand this point. Okay, so first point जिसके लिए थोड़ा कॉमन सेंस चाहिए वो क्या इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्टर है, वो है नैरो रिवर वैलीज. और ये वाला पॉइंट भी बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है. मतलब मैं इतना टाइम तक यहीं पे तक पहुंचने के लिए बक कर रहा था, ठीक है. सो दिस इज वन ऑफ द इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट्स यू शुड रीड केयरफुल. ओके, सो इसके लिए तुम्हारा थोड़ा कॉमन सेंस चाहिए और थोड़ा बेसिक नॉलेज चाहिए. लेकिन इसमें क्या होता है ना, देयर आर सेवरल पॉइंट्स, देयर आर सेवरल की पॉइंट्स व्हिच यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. If you don't understand this part, then you can't remember it. और एग्जाम में बोलोगे कि क्वेश्चन से लेंथी आया था. फर्स्ट वन इज, लास्ट ईयर में क्या हुआ था मालूम है? तुम्हारे सीनियर ने लिखा था एक जगह पे, मैंने लिखा, पूछा कि जियोलॉजिकल कंसीडरेशन क्या होता है. उसने लिखा कि आसपास दुकान भी देखना चाहिए जहाँ पे सीमेंट मिलता है, और नहीं तो हम लोगों का प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट नहीं कर पाऊंगा. वो जियोलॉजिकल कंसीडरेशन नहीं है. आप सीमेंट का अवेलेबिलिटी और कंक्रीट का अवेलेबिलिटी के ऊपर वो जियोलॉजिकल कंसीडरेशन नहीं है, वो सिविल इंजीनियरिंग एस्पेक्ट है. वो इंटरनेट पे कुछ आया, वो उसको देख के लिख दें, और मैं मस्त उसको हाफ मार्क्स दे दिया, ठीक है ना. तो जियोलॉजिकल कंसीडरेशन मीन्स तुमको जियोलॉजी के एज ए जियोलॉजिस्ट यू हैव टू थिंक. फर्स्ट वन इज द दिस पॉइंट इज जियोमॉर्फोलॉजिकल पॉइंट, दैट इज द नैरो रिवर वैली. What will happen if the narrow river valley is there? So suppose a area is there and there are several site locations. You may choose, you have to choose one from 3 or 4 site locations, and your first point would be, is it narrow river valley or is it wider river valley? If it's a narrow river valley, then your dam structure will be small. बजट भी तो देखना है ना, कंपनी का प्रॉफिट भी तो करना है ना. सो बजट यहाँ पे एक इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्टर है. सो तुम्हारा जो ऑब्जेक्टिव होगा कि कम से कम पैसे में हो जाए. मैं बोला नहीं ये समझने के लिए कुछ नहीं है, वो थोड़ा सा कॉमन सेंस चाहिए, लेकिन पॉइंट को समझना है कि क्या पॉइंट डिस्कस करता हूँ. सो एट द proposed dam site, if the river valley is narrow, only a small dam is required, which means the cost of dam construction will be less, obviously. On the other hand, if the valley is wide, bigger dam construction is required, so पैसा भी बढ़ जाएगा, cost भी बढ़ जाएगा. लेकिन if you found in some place that it has some narrow river valleys, then don't be, मतलब ज़्यादा खुश मत हो जाना कि पैसा बच गया पूरा. देयर आर सेवरल फैक्टर्स. इसका प्रोज भी है, कुछ कॉन्स भी है. व्हाट आर द कॉन्स, व्हाट आर द डिसएडवांटेजेस ऑफ नैरो रिवर वैलीज? नैरो रिवर वैली होगा तो क्या डिसएडवांटेज होगा? एनीवन कॉमन सेंस से बताओ. प्रेशर विल बी हाई, एक पॉइंट हो सकता है. और क्या हो सकता है? Ravises or the rubbles or pebbles or gravels or boulders can fall and damage the construction. Okay? यहाँ से पत्थर फोड़ के गिर सकता है. और ये नैरो होगा तो आप रिवर का कौन सी स्टेज में होगा तुमको तो मैं नहीं बताया हूँ. तो रिवर का कौन सी स्टेज में ये नैरो रिवर वैली है वो भी देखना है. और प्रेशर भी हाई हो सकता है. मे बी दिस वॉल्स विल नॉट बी कॉम्पिटेंट इनफ. सो अगर नैरो रिवर वैली मिला तो चले मत जाना. यू हैव टू लुक आफ्टर दिस फैक्टर ऑल्सो. सो व्हाट आर द डिफेक्ट्स? सो नैरोइंग रिवर वैली ड्यू टू द लैंडस्लाइड, रॉक क्रीप. रॉक क्रीप means slowly the rock is deforming, rock fracturing, thick superficial deposits such as residual soil, talus, boulders, silt, clay, etc. ये रहता है तो दिक्कत हो जाता है. And the occurrence of the buried river channels crossing the sides, and sometimes there is a buried river channels which is underground, is crossing the sides either below the adjacent river bed. So that can also create a problem. And और एक जो प्रेशर की बात बोला कि the unsuitability of rocks due to the presence of soluble minerals like gypsum or due to faulting which may be concealed beneath the sediments. तो प्रेशर भी हाई हो सकता है. अनसुटेबिलिटी ऑफ द रॉक जो ऐसा अगर वैली रहेगा और उसमें अगर ये रॉक टाइप अनसुटेबल रहेगा और द बेड रॉक अनसुटेबल रहेगा, देन यू विल नॉट गो फॉर डैम कंस्ट्रक्शन. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, so this is an example of narrow river valley. So therefore is preferable from the economic point of view that okay, narrow river valley is good, but you have to consider several factors, that your surrounding rock shouldn't be fractured, your surrounding rock shouldn't be weathered, your rock should be competent enough to hold that structure because the pressure would be high. But such sites should not be blindly selected without further investigation, जो मैंने डिस्कस कर रहा था. Okay? Second important point is the bedrock at shallow depth. कोई भी हम लोग अगर कंस्ट्रक्शन करते हैं, if we are doing any kind of civil engineering construction and the bedrocks are at a shallow depth, then it's a life saver, it's a cost saver incident, it's a cost saver condition. Why? Because if you are building a multi-story building, just lay your foundation on this competent bedrock, okay, and you build a multi-story building. Okay? If you got a competent bedrock, if you got a bedrock at a shallow depth, then it will give you, or it will ensure the safety and stability of that construction. Same thing happened with the dam also. If you found a shallow bedrock, that means your cost, it's a cost-effective technique. It's a cost-effective incident. Now, this bedrock could be fractured, that thing you should avoid, or you have to take some remedial measures. Sometimes you find that it's heavily fractured, but you are having a shallow bedrock, so blindly you shouldn't go for the site. You shouldn't select that site for the dam. You have to consider that it's not whether it's competent enough, the strength is good enough to hold that entire structure. Then the bedrock at shallow depth is ensuring its safety and stability of a dam, on which the dam basically rests. Okay, so if such competent bedrocks occur near the surface, the foundation cost will be, or foundation cost of the dam will be less. Okay. So on the other hand, if the competent bedrocks occur at a great depth, the cost of the foundation will be very high because it involves extensive work of excavation, of loosening, overburden, and concrete refilling. So sometimes we use vibrocompactor, we use vibrocompaction. ये पढ़े हो क्या? वाइब्रोकॉम्पैक्शन पढ़े हो कि नहीं? वाइब्रोकॉम्पैक्शन यूज करते हैं, फाउंडेशन के लिए पाइल्स यूज करते हैं. इफ़ वी आर नॉट फाइंडिंग एनी पाइल्स यूज करते हैं, पिलर्स यूज करते हैं. इफ bedrocks is not in the immediate vicinity, then and it's at a certain depth up to, let's say, up to 300 feet. At 300 feet the bedrock lies, then you have to put support up to that bedrock, तो कॉस्ट बढ़ जाता है. सो सेवरल फैक्टर्स इन्वॉल्व हियर, बिकॉज पैसा भी देखना है. किसी भी प्रोजेक्ट में तुमको कंपनी का पैसा बचाना है. ओके, सो ऑन द अदर हैंड, इफ द कॉम्पिटेंट bedrock occurs at the correct depth, the cost of the foundation will be very high because it involves extensive work of excavation of loose sediment overburden. Sometimes you have to excavate the entire loose overburden. Okay, then you have to build a pillar or pillar kind of structure or a foundation structure. There are several foundation structures that also there. Okay, so I'm not discussing that part. That's not in your syllabus. वो तुम लोग पढ़ ही लोगे, सिविल में हो. So these are the examples of bedrock having bedrocks in at shallow depths.